Okay, good afternoon. Well, as you guys know, my name is David Rojas, and this is an idea that actually I came up with in the help of my supervisor, coming from this medical science background and trying to use, I did a master in computer science, and I kind of like get that touch into the gamification world, the virtual reality. And I wanted to take those theories that I apply in medical science and bring something from the computer science field and just blend it together. So the first part is to actually what is the missing piece in the gamification puzzle. So if we talk about gamification and just going to the literature review and just reading papers about it, gamification is effective most of the times that actually we use gamification. Everybody nowadays is using gamification in completely different contexts, and most of the time it's lead to actually really helpful results. However, the missing piece of the gamification puzzle is that not all the time leads to the outcome that actually we are expecting. There's always something that actually is missing there and sometimes can lead to not what we're looking for. Then the next question is a why. Why is actually not working the way that actually it's supposed to work? Why if it's out there and everybody's using it, it's a completely different context, why there's something that is making it not work in the proper way? And coming from the, from the medical science theory, I came out with the complex intervention. So what happened with the complex intervention is pretty much, what happened with the complex intervention is this kind of phenomena that needs a lot of components, a lot of little components that need to tune up or kind of be adjusted in a certain way in order to actually reach the success that actually you are looking for. So if I actually catalog gamification within the complex intervention, then I can treat it as a medical science theory. However, what is the problem with the complex intervention? And then I'm going to go to Forscher in 1963. And pretty much what Forscher proposed was that every single field starts with simple projects, and those simple projects are just simple bricks. Then you use all those simple bricks to actually create the foundation of your research field. However, there's a point in which you need to make a jump between these simple projects to a more deeper understanding of what is happening and why this field is actually getting the results that you are getting. However, the problem is when you're in the point about to do that jump, you can get into two different outcomes. And you can get either into a pile of random bricks that doesn't create the theory that you need in order to build a research field, or you can create a complete edification about it. So what will be the solution here? What I'm proposing here is to use the Medical Research Council framework that is pretty much a framework for the design and evaluation of complex intervention. And I'm going to bring that into the gamification world and came up with a gamification design framework. I just want to clarify at this point that gamification is a term that actually has been used in the health science field a lot, but nobody actually calls it gamification. There's a lot of surgeons and people that I work with that are really interested in bringing video games or bringing games or making things more fun for the students and so on, but nobody actually calls it gamification. So this is an approach of just using the same theory that they use for this complex intervention in the health science and applying the gamification concept for them to start unifying this. So first of all, let's call things by their real name. And again, after reading a lot of papers about gamification, I came up to a kind of a dilemma, and it's people is just using gamification and calling it different things, calling different things under the same umbrella, just gamification. So sometimes gamification works, sometimes gamification doesn't work, but really what is happening in reality is that they are working with two different concepts. And one is gamification for development, and the other one is gamification for enhancement. So what happened with gamification for development is pretty much take all these principles of gamification and trying to design something new, a tool that actually is going to be useful out there. And gamification for enhancement is taking something that is already out there and trying to enhance that by using the gamification principles in order to engage people and make it more fun for people. So having said that, now going to what my framework is, I'm going to explain you briefly the 4 stages of my framework, like explaining the winner example. And the first stage of my theory will be the theory and modeling. And this is really similar to a normal framework of how to do research, but I'm going to explain what is the difference here. So first, we have to define the context. And the context is being defined based on the points that I just mentioned before. So are we working with gamification for development, or are we working for gamification for enhancement? And that's a big field. That's a big decision that we need to take, because based on that, we're going to take two different paths. Then we're going to find the support. We need to actually figure out if what we have is actually necessary out there. So many times people just get in the rush of using gamification because it's a really hot topic right now and everybody want to use it, but they don't take the time to actually look out there and figure out either if it's for development or for enhancement, but if it's necessary out there. And they came up with really good tools, but start competing with other really good tools that are out there. So it looks like it's not successful at the end, but it's not that it's not successful, it's that it wasn't necessary in the beginning. Then we go for the intervention and design, and it's pretty much you need to figure out what is the target that actually, what is the audience that you are targeting, the type of activity, the type of intervention that you're going to be working with, the factors that might influence that outcome somehow, and last but not least, the co-founders. So just to make a relation and make an explanation for you guys, I'm going to use the piano stairs. And the piano stairs come from the fan theory from Volkswagen, and they were just trying to make people's life more fun by using simple modifications into the daily life activities. So I know they didn't use my framework to create this, but I'm going to assume that actually I'm going to explain to you how, using my framework, I would come up with this idea, the fan theory from Volkswagen. So first, I'm going to define the context, and my context will be I need to enhance this. People usually just go upstairs. I need to tell it. I need to tell people why to go upstairs, and I need to actually engage them into, okay, use the normal stairs instead of the electrical stairs. Find the support, every kind of research out there about health, about movement, kinematics, kinesiology, all of those will just give me a framework which I can actually work with. And the intervention design will be in this case, the target is a really broad target because it's a really broad audience because it's all the people that actually is working on those stairs. The type of activity is a daily day activity. The type of intervention is I'm going to have the normal stairs and the electrical, and they're going to make the decision. The factors that might influence the mood of the people, if they are tired at that point, the age of the people. And the possible co-founders is the weather or something that I cannot actually control at that point. The second part will be the piloting. And the piloting starts with a stakeholder analysis. When we go for the stakeholder analysis, we are looking for the feasibility and acceptability. We need to go to the stakeholders, people out there, and figure it out. Do you guys actually need this? Do you guys actually are interested in this that we are proposing? And also really important, the cost effectiveness. How much is it going to cost me to actually implement this idea? And if you're actually interested in, based on the cost that I use, it's going to cost you for me to implement that. And then we have the normal pilot study that start with the trying it for the methodological issues and what is going to happen once we actually implement it, and how many people actually do we need in order to expand this. The main point of using this framework is to actually document and be able to replicate the result that actually we get after each experiment in a completely different context. Then we run the experiment and we actually obtain the results. In this case, for the fan theory, 70% of the people that actually was going through the stairs that day used the piano stairs instead of the electrical stairs. But there's a step after that, and it's the implementation. So most of the people actually get to the results. Oh, I have good results, and that's it. However, I'm proposing to get those results and just analyze that. I know I was talking to one of the people that is attending this conference. At the beginning, I was like, oh, this is about the comparison between electrical stairs and normal stairs. But it's not about the comparison. It's about like now, even if you don't have electrical stairs, even if you have normal stairs, you somehow want to make people be more engaged and having more fun doing these stairs in a completely different context. And this is given by the fact that once you run the study, you will find the results that you were looking for. So yeah, so again, all this is just to prevent the chaos in the Brickyard that can happen if we could be using gamification and not calling things for the proper name or using a real framework into the health science world. And that's pretty much it. I'm happy to receive any questions.